to call the meeting to order. This is the Cultural Commission meeting, in case you're wondering where you're at.
Always.
Just a moment. Okay, can we have the roll call, please?
Yes, Sandra Nagel.
Present.
Karen Abound.
Present.
Eleanor Bugley.
Present.
Terry McBride.
Present.
Barbara Danale.
Present.
Janet Geary.
Present.
And Lupe Ramirez.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. At this time, we'll take initial public comments. The public is invited to comment on and discuss any topic that is relevant to or within the authority of the Carson City Cultural Commission. In order for members of the public to participate in the Cultural Commission's consideration of an agenda item, the Cultural Commission strongly encourages you to comment on an item during the item itself. Subject to a 3-minute time limit, or 3-minute time limit. And so do we have any initial public comment?
Good afternoon. This is Myron Friedman. I just wanted to come by and say hello to the commission. I'm the new director of the Nevada State Museum, 5 weeks on the job. And look, thank you very much. And looking forward to the museum continuing to be a cultural fixture in the community. So I've already met Mark and I've had some good conversations with him. I'm looking forward to getting really involved in culture in Carson City. So thank you very much.
Myron, can we ask where you come from?
I come from Reno, Nevada. But I've been around Chicago and St. Louis and California, so bringing my love of museums and experience back to my home state.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
introducing yourself.
Good evening. How are you? My name is Linda Ficklin, and I'm the new, I'm the interim executive director for the Nevada Arts Council. And I have met some of you, and I have attended some of your meetings. And I just wanted to let you know that we're here, and we're here to help. And anything I can do, or any questions you have, just give me a holler. And I'm from here.
Thank you. We look forward to continuing our strong relationship with the Nevada Arts Council. It's great that you're in our town.
Hi, I'm Sharon Ross, Capital City Arts Initiative. And I have to show you what was in yesterday's Reno Gazette Journal, an entire full page of an ad supporting the arts. This was published in 10 communities across the country. And on CCAI's Facebook page, no, it's on mine. There's a link to more of an explanation on why they published this. So if you want to go to my Facebook page. Anyway, this helps communities thrive. It talks about how much money went to Northern Nevada and lists 7 organizations that received grants recently from the NEA. So, what? Read them off. Art Town, which is in Reno, Capital City Arts Initiative, yay. Carson Valley Arts Council, Churchill Arts Council, Nevada Museum of Art, Sierra Nevada Ballet, and Western Folklife Center. So this is a really big deal. Any questions?
I'd like to add we have 2 of those big deals here. Sharon's organization and the Sierra Nevada Ballet is here too.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
The grant that is listed here for us was in 2015. So it was still a big deal.
Any other members of the public? Okay. So item number 4 on the agenda is for possible action, the approval of 2 sets of minutes. Let's start with the January 3rd, 2017 meeting minutes. Does anybody have any?
23rd.
January 23rd.
Your mic's off.
Do you want me to repeat it?
Go ahead.
I would like to move approval of the January 23rd, 2017 board minutes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Me. Motion carries. Okay, now we'll move on to the March 13th, 2017 Cultural Commission meeting minutes. Anyone have any comments? I just had a brief comment on that. Involves some emboldening of text. So I'm on page 5. The item that's introduced with Ms. McBride brought the next item to the board's attention, commissioner comments or announcements. And then, let's see, there's, the way the minutes are being structured is that the speaker's name starts out the sentence, and throughout the rest of the minutes, that person's name is bold. So there's just 4, like the first Miss McBride, and then the first Miss Geary, and then the second Miss McBride, and then the first second Mr. Salinas. All just need to be in bold, and that's all I saw.
Okay, perfect. I'll make those changes.
So with those changes, do we have a motion to approve?
I move to approve the minutes with the changes as suggested for March 13th, 2017.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. So the adoption of the agenda is the next item. Action may be taken on those items denoted for possible action. This is where we ask if items on the agenda need to be taken in a different order than they're proposed on the printed version. Does anybody need to have an agenda item moved? No? Okay. Moving right along. Item number 6 for discussion, presentation by Stephen Saylor on proposed arts and culture event.
I'm Stephen Saylor. I've lived here since 1972. Nevada's my home, and we live in Dayton. And Carson City has always been the center for us, for our family, and everything we do. In 1974, I worked with UNR, opening Western Nevada Community College in the art department, and taught classes there for many years. And this last fall, I started teaching part-time again up there. Really enjoyed teaching in the community. What I'm talking about today, in 2007, the Northern Nevada Railway Foundation, which was raising the funds to reconstruct the V&T Railway, asked me to come in and create a signature event that would build year after year on the order of Art Town, Hot August Nights, but it would be a Carson City anchored V&T themed event. So I put together a proposal, and in 2008, we pulled it off. And we broke even, which was amazing, because the first 2 years of Hot August Nights, they went bankrupt. And then they got together and pulled it out, and now it brings $200 million into the community every year. Art Town started out with 52 pieces of art and a little show, and we all know what Art Town's become. It's just huge. So the idea of developing this for the Carson City community and the railway was that we would develop a signature event that would be a month long, and then would continue through the year to keep awareness in front of the public nationally, and we were actually international with the railway, because the V&T Railway is the most famous steam train in the world. It's been in over 250 movies, the equipment, it's highly prized. When they built that equipment, they spared no expense making it as fine as it could be. And our State Museum is a fine example of that. So is the Sacramento Railroad Museum. So going forward, I put together a short presentation with my dear friend McAvoy Lane, which Mark was going to play for us, which pretty much covers the ins and outs of it. Now remember, this was in 2008, so some of the data needs to be schmoozed, but this was it in the day. So Mark, if you would play that. And when we're through saying that, then I'll show you the program that we produced for it and some product. Yeah, if you just click play, it should go. Is it possible to dim the room lights? There you go. And when we get the volume, we'll go. Here we go.
I've been wanting to say that since I was a boy Tom Sawyer's age. And what more appropriate time to say it than now, when I can welcome you aboard and introduce Railway Reflections International Art Expo, the event to benefit the greatest short railway in the world, the Virginia and Truckee Railroad. As you probably already know, the V&T is under reconstruction, but we need some more funds to finish the job. And Railway Reflections is a part of this plan. Before long, visitors will be pouring into the area, like the Carson River pours in the springtime. And these visitors will not just be visiting the V&T, but other local businesses as well. Now, I never let the truth stand in the way of a good story, but I'd like to offer some true facts and figures to back up my case for Railway Reflections.
Railway Reflections International Art Expo has a three-part mission. 1, to bring worldwide attention and support to the reconstruction of the Virginia and Truckee Railroad. 2, to celebrate and promote Carson City's and Virginia City's Wild West heritage. And 3, to positively impact the region's economy. The annual month-long event will attract a varied audience. Some of the train-focused highlights: for art lovers, a selection of works at various galleries and museums, including a judged show at the Nevada State Library Gallery. For music and drama fans, concerts, plays, and a festival of films featuring famous trains. For gourmet, tastings around town, including a black tie gala at the Governor's Mansion. And of course, for train enthusiasts, railroad-inspired lectures, displays, and a memorabilia show and sale. This event not only capitalizes on grassroots support for the V&T, it also taps into a growing worldwide enthusiasm for trains and railway history. Amtrak is welcoming record numbers of passengers each year, more than 24.3 million in 2006, and on average over 67,000 on up to 300 trains each day. There are thousands of books, websites, magazines, videos, and societies devoted to trains and railway history, not to mention museums, tourist rail lines, fan trips, and railway events. For aficionados who are generally well-educated and well-traveled, this is obviously more than a hobby. You could call trains their passion. We've taken a very conservative approach to projecting response to our event, estimating a per-day average of 150 visitors in the first year. As the schedule of events and awareness grows, we believe attendance will at least double in years 2 and 3. Visitor spending projections are conservative too, using a per-guest average of $33.70. Economic impact is calculated with a regional multiplier from the U.S. Department of Commerce Regional Input-Output Modeling System, or RIMS-2, developed by the Bureau of Economic Analysis. RIMS-2 was also used in the feasibility studies for the V&T project itself. According to our estimates, Railway Reflections will bring $2,414,606 into the area in the first 3 years.
Well, we've either impressed you with those facts and figures or put you to sleep. But now that I've got your attention again, here's some more good information about Railway Reflections.
Who are the visitors we've been talking about? Train enthusiasts, plus people interested in art, culture, and history from the surrounding areas and Northern California. The timing of the event is critical to our visitor count and revenue projections. The dates we've selected take advantage of the generally busier summer season and piggyback on attendance at other popular area events. Railfest, for example, originated in Virginia City and expanded to Carson City. This mid-August weekend is filled with good food, great music, and train rides, bandits included. The Jazz and Beyond Festival, a mid-August weekend at Carson City's Brewery Arts Center, features internationally known jazz performers, food and drink, unique street vendors, dancing, and jam sessions. Over 1 million visitors are also attracted to well-established events in nearby Reno and Lake Tahoe. Art Town, Reno's Summer Arts Festival, fills July with all kinds of exhibits and performances for an average annual audience of 285,000. At the Lake Tahoe Shakespeare Festival at Sand Harbor, over 20,000 applaud the bard, along with some impressive scenery, from mid-July through mid-August. And during hot August nights, actually 9 days and nights, over 800,000 people celebrate the 50s and 60s with classic car displays, parades, concerts, a prom, and more. Inspired by events like these, 3 longtime supporters of the V&T are developing Railway Reflections International Art Expo. Executive Director Stephen Saylor has been a part of the Carson-Reno community for many years. He and his family have lived in the same Dayton home since 1972. A fine artist himself, Stephen developed the art program for Western Nevada Community College in 1974 and opened his own studio in 1991. 3 of Stephen's works, Heavyweights, Celebrity Train, and Victory Train, have helped to raise money for the V&T reconstruction. Director of Events Jim Clark has been known as the Train Man in Hollywood for over 20 years. He's created railroad stunts and effects for more than 200 films. Jim's history with the V&T also goes back 2+ decades. He founded the Friends of the Virginia and Truckee Railroad in 1985 and worked at the Nevada State Railroad Museum, home to the largest collection of V&T engines and cars. As a board member of the Northern Nevada Railway Foundation today, and an enthusiastic supporter of Railway Reflections, Jim continues to work toward getting the V&T back on track. Director of Development Robert Hadfield has played key roles in Nevada government and economic development for 30 years. Bob served as Executive Director of the Nevada Association of Counties for 20 years, on the Private Activity Bond Commission for 20, and as manager of 2 Northern Nevada counties. Recently retired, Bob remains actively involved, elected to a 6th term on the Minden Town Board, and as chairman of the Nevada Commission for the Reconstruction of the V&T Railway. Expenses for the first year of Railway Reflections are projected at $216,000. Plans for promoting Railway Reflections call for billboard, print, online, and radio advertising in cooperation with other area events whenever possible, primarily in regional media with some newspaper placements in the Gold Country and banner advertising on sacb.com. Public relations efforts will focus on Bay Area, Sacramento, and Northern Nevada coverage and promotions, as well as a special media invitation to Railway Reflections opening day. Stephen, Jim, and Bob will also approach the Tourist Railway Association and its 150-plus members to generate interest in our event and explore two other possibilities: coordinating an annual trade show with Railway Reflections and developing a satellite exhibit for between-event promotion across the country. As part of event advertising and fundraising, Railway Reflections will also produce and sell a collectible limited edition poster and a commemorative silver medallion. Additionally, a larger catalog will be published to showcase the event's artwork, artists, and performers. The catalog, to be distributed with Reno and Carson newspapers as well as at the event, will provide businesses the opportunity to support the project by buying advertising space. Railway Reflections will follow the lead of other successful events like Reno's Art Town, soliciting government, corporate, and private sponsorships and memberships with presentations like this one. And volunteers will be the bridge to keeping labor costs down. Railway Reflections will appeal to them through newsletters like the V&T Gazette, other special interest forums, and community service organizations. Railway Reflections will reflect positively on its Northern Nevada neighbors. With art as its theme, it will reinforce the area's reputation as a cultural center. As a new event with broad-based appeal, it will add to the area's attraction as a tourist destination, increasing spending at hotels, casinos, restaurants, shops. And by supporting the reconstruction of the historic Virginia and Truckee Railroad, Railway Reflections International Art Expo will reconnect visitors with Northern Nevada's Wild West character.
Well, speaking of characters from the Old West, we're back. I hope you find this information interesting and motivating, because we're not just here to entertain you, no, but to lean on you a little. So I hope you'll loosen up in the spirit of the Old West. Oh, I cannot wait until the V&T is all refurbished, rejuvenated. Why, in my day, she was so slow they took the cow catcher off the front of the train and moved it around to the backside. Well, they knew they couldn't catch any cows, but they were afraid one might try to climb on from behind and bite the passengers. So welcome aboard as we bring on Railway Reflections International Art Expo, a benefit for the Virginia and Truckee Railroad.
Well, I hope you were entertained. That was our presentation product, like a PowerPoint, that we took around and showed to solicit companies and individuals and groups to become involved with building this project, and then going forward in the future adding other community organizations that wanted to become part of it and help develop it and take in new ideas. And I'm sorry I do not have one of these for each of you, but over the years I've handed them all out until this is the last catalog. But this was the catalog we produced, and I'll pass it up to you to take a look at. But it explained the events and about the most famous train in the world, which is the Virginia and Truckee Railroad. Literally is the most famous steam engine in the world. And then through the catalog, you'll see the different events that we had and the dates we had them. And some of the product that we produced, we had a Railroadiana, which is a memorabilia railroad show at the State Library in the lobby. We had a model railway show there, which was really well attended at the same venue. We had the International Art exhibit in the gallery, which is there. And we had 100 pieces of art, and we had art from 5 countries outside the U.S. It was a juried show with prizes, and then the concept going forward with the art was we were going to partner with the artists, develop a catalog that would build over the years, which we can do online now rather than print, and sell their art, split it with them, and the money would go towards the program. We would do the same thing then when we minted an ingot. We minted an ingot. Marshall Mint in Virginia City volunteered their press and time. So we marketed ahead of time an ingot. Thanks, Joel. And we did pre-publicity, and they were $100 a piece, and we made 100 of them, and you were invited to come to the mint and watch your ingot being minted. Well, people came up to buy their ingot, and they ended up buying 2 or 3 or 4 of them. So we sold out the 100 of them in 2 days and raised $10,000. And I'll pass this around. This was the ingot. We were going to do it at the State Museum on their press, but they don't do the ingot. They do the medallions. And going forward, my proposal is to do, and I've done 2 already, at the State Mint, and do the same thing, have people come and watch their medallion being struck and signed and numbered, and start a series. This was supposed to be the first of a series going forward, and I'll pass this around for you to look at. Joel, do you mind? So going forward, we were going to have quarterly events with the railroad and the community to keep this in front of the public the entire time. Part of my plan to do that and to raise money was, and this worked very well, we produced a railway pale ale. And we had this set up with Buckbean Brewery, which has changed hands now. It's Great Basin Brewery, but they produced a very popular railway ale for us. And so we didn't can it. We were going to do this can the second year, but we did make bar pulls out of this. So a lot of the bars in the community had kegs of this beer, and they would tap it and pour it. And it sold for $4 for 16 ounces, and then the bar would get their money, and the rest we'd pay the brewery, and then we made about $2 a glass off of it. And then people bought beer out of the kegs. We did some small little pony ones they could get and take. Then the idea being that with the beer, we were going to add a stout, a dark beer, and then we were going to add a cold-pressed coffee that you could buy. And we were going to go to the local distributor, Capital Beverage. I had an initial talk with them to see if they would distribute it to the bars and the grocery stores and stuff in the northern Nevada area. We had the initial talk with that, and there was an agreement that they would be willing to do that. So then they would make their mark, the stores would make their mark, and the brewery would make its mark, and then the profits every time we sold a can of beer or cold-pressed coffee, there'd be a steady stream of income coming into the organization year-round. And we anticipated we would raise hundreds of thousands of dollars every year just off the sale of beer and cold-pressed coffee. Went to Tahoe Ridge Winery with the same concept in mind. They did a signature white and a signature red wine for us, which we private labeled. And we were going to add 2 other whites and 2 other reds to this over the years, slowly. And this we did have bottled, and we sold bottles of it and cases of it, plus pouring it at the events, and it was very successful. People like to drink wine with dinner or whatever, and a lot of people bought it and just took it home like this one and never opened it, just as a collector item. So these 2 products, the ingot, were the start of, and the artwork in the catalog and the medallions, this was the start of building an ongoing sales program to continually bring funds into the railroad project and develop an international awareness of the reconstruction of the V&T Railway. Well, the railway now is done as far as it is to the Carson City, and the dream of bringing it down along the beauty route along the river is still alive. It's going to cost, I heard, $4 million to finish that. And so that would mean there'd be $58 million of the community bond put into getting the railroad finished. So my goal and objective with getting this project up and running is to bring international awareness that it's back and start specialty trains for now with organizations and groups, families, and the like, and events with the Pony Express, National Cowboy Day, children, trains, but actually develop a program where we're running the train more frequently. And with the Seroptimus of the Comstock, we did 3 train events, and we worked with Tom Gray, and we had a deal with Tom. We had 145 seats, and there was a mark the Seroptimus had to make in order to pay expenses, serve dinner on the train and everything. And if we got to a point where we weren't selling out or reaching the mark, Tom agreed that we just, ahead of time, just stop it. Well, Seroptimus sold it out every time. And we had different themed events. And after they paid Tom and after they paid the caterer, Seroptimus brought $4,000 profit into the organization on each trip. And we had people saying, sign me up, put me on the email, I want to come back and bring my family and friends for the next one. So I know it works. And so my dream is to make this event a signature event that Carson City owns. Now, there's a big difference between owning the event and hosting the event. And an example of that, and then I'll try to wrap this up, is Hot August Nights. Hot August Nights got where it got. It's huge. The city of Los Angeles came to the people that own it and said, come on down. We've got all these incentives for you. We'll do this for you. We'll do that for you. Take the event out of Reno, bring it down there. Everybody will follow you wherever you go, which was true. And the city of Reno scrambled. And I don't know if you all remember it, but there was a lot of negotiating going on and everything, so they finally saved the event for Reno, or it would have gone bye-bye. So my concept of this is that the city owns it. Nobody's going to take it away from the city. It's the city's event. And as it builds and goes through the years, some other railroad organization is going, wow, that's really great. Why don't you bring it to Indianapolis? We'll host it there because now the whole world's coming to it. So if we do it so that the city owns it, then there's no concerns about it ever leaving. And why should it leave? Because it's about Carson City, it's about the V&T Railway, and it's about our community. So I just wanted to bring you all up to speed. I've met with Karen and the other supervisors except for Brad, and I'm meeting with him Thursday. I've met with Joel and Kyle and Mark and Denny Dodson, and they've got support they can give towards this as far as helping how they can. And so I just wanted to come and talk to you all and let you know what's going on. So any questions? Anyone?
I have one, as I usually do. Do you have any preliminary numbers on what the first year that this would cost to put on? Not funds generated, but what would be the upfront?
Well, the foundation, I had a contract. It was for $50,000 for the year. And I created all the artwork. I put on all the events. I was there when they did the contracts for the events. I was there to help set up the events. I was there to help take down the events. We did the marketing, we did the promotion and all of that. So that was $50,000. The $216,000 was a projection that we undercut. We ended up spending under $100,000 for the whole thing. And I had sponsors, if you'll see in the catalog. There were people that came in and sponsored and advertised. So we pulled the whole thing off for under $100,000. And with social media now and with the ability that the Convention and Visitors Bureau have now, they've offered services. They have photographers, they have videographers, they have people that before I had to hire. So that would cut that expense. So the expense for it is really minimal considering what it is. Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me why you stopped doing it or why it didn't continue?
Well, in 2008, the economy took a tank. The foundation's funds, the foundation raised the money and gave it to the commission to spend. Well, the whole thing basically was the economy tanked. They didn't have the funds to put it on, which was too bad. We looked around to see if we could pull together enough resources to make it happen again, and we just couldn't quite get there. So that was the main reason. It wasn't because they didn't like it or thought it wasn't a good idea, which is why we initiated it in the first place. It was just, at that time, it was just not in the cards, fund-wise.
And I did direct Stephen to the NAC, who might have some grants that would be applicable to his vision, as well as our special events grants as well. So it's beneficial that you're here tonight to see that, whatever that might add to.
Yeah, there's potential for that. And then I approached Union Pacific Railroad in Sacramento, their main office, and they do have a program, and they love the train. And going on into the second year, had we been able to put it together, they would have given funds also towards the event. And then with the sale of, had we gotten this product out there, we would have been doing really well. Yes, ma'am.
One more thought. The Nevada Division of Tourism has grants for this type of event as well, so you might want to check with the Division of Tourism and Cultural Affairs.
Thank you, I will do that. Okay.
So, Stephen, can I ask, so you would like support from this commission to encourage the city to become partners in your event? Is that what you're looking for today?
Yes, I'm just looking to see if you all like the project. I've talked with Mayor Kroll multiple times. I've known Bob for many years. He thinks it's a very doable contract for the city. I've been meeting with the supervisors individually so they can get an up-to-date on what's proposed. And so far, I've had good feedback from them that they think it's a good idea. And then I will go back to the Board of Supervisors, and then I can say, well, it's not just me that thinks it's a good idea. It's these various committees and organizations that think that for the growth and development of Carson City and our new downtown, which is lovely, to bring people in there, bring new shop owners in. And we do have the V&T, which is there now, and the city was going to own it. So my project is to make it run and make it profitable, so that going forward, it's a very positive for everyone in the community.
I like it.
Well, thank you.
It's cool.
Well, we'll make it cool. And the other art organizations in town are certainly welcome, and a lot of them did. Sierra Nevada Ballet was in there. And any of the art organizations, I'm on the Nevada Artists Association board now again, and they're involved, so we'll promote every art and cultural organization we can in the community and try to bring people back here time and time again throughout the year. So that's the goal.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you all very much for your time.
Thank you.
So the next item on the agenda is a presentation on the Carson City Ghost Walk. supernatural entertainment, and historical folly. And I see my insurance agent is here to present. So please introduce yourself for the record and go ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Mary Bennett. I'm the producing artistic director for the Carson City Ghost Walk and Bruca Theater in Reno, Nevada, and an artist in residence with the state of Nevada.
I am Bailey Biber. I have self-titled myself as project coordinator, just because I wanted a fancy title, but just partner with my mom. And I'm born, raised, and current resident of Carson City. Sorry.
She didn't get the speaking gene.
No.
She did. She just doesn't want to admit it. So hi. We came today, Joel suggested and Mark that we come down and just reintroduce ourselves and say hi to everybody and let you guys know what we've been doing with the Ghost Walk and invite you, each one of you, to come and enjoy it if you would like to. We have postcards and we have dates for our upcoming season. Each year, well, I'll give you a little bit of history first in case, just remind you of the past, and that's what the Ghost Walk does so well. This is our 25th season as a Ghost Walk. It originally started, Mary Walker started it with the city, and based it because she'd gone to Boston and she saw the Freedom Trail and thought Carson City really needs to be highlighted in the historic district and we need to showcase this. And so over the years it's taken on so many different ideas and different artists and people who have contributed to it. Candy Duncan ran it for quite some time, and Joy, also Joy Evans. And all of the people, we could list them out. They're all people that we know and admire very much, but gathered stories and gathered ideas and wanted to continue to honor Carson City. And it started off where Carson City thought, well, we'll do a Wild West walk, and then we'll also do a Ghost Walk. So May, Memorial Day, started off with this Wild West walk, which was super fun, and had the gunfighters out. And not a lot of people came because it was Memorial Day weekend, perhaps, but that was not the big draw. But we knew that it was always the beginning walk because it would snow very lightly on us. And it still hopefully does. So when the city decided to let it go, CCVB was running it, in 2011, Candy asked me if I wanted to go ahead and continue working on it like I had been doing. I had been artistically directing it, but not running the business end. The city had been doing that. And one of the big benefits of that was the marketing and the monies that CCVB was able to put into that. At the time, each year, I believe that the Ghost Walk usually ran about $22,000, and they would package a lot of the advertising because how CCVB worked was, of course, they would hit Sacramento and all the outside areas, and they were able to package Ghost Walk with the other events that they were doing. And in 2011, we took it over. We actually applied for a grant here to help with the advertising at that time. I think it was like I can't remember, it was a couple $1,000s. And it does help. Advertising is crazy expensive, as we all know. And what we do well, I think what Bailey and I do very well, is we've continued to artistically direct the walk so that it has a personality here in Carson. I think people really enjoy coming on the walk. We've created through kind of a theatrical bend, a character that's based on Mary Curry, who is Abe Curry's widow, and Abe Curry is the founder of Carson City. And so with the history that we know, and I keep trying to read more and always learn, Mary Curry, Madam Curry, is a character that I play to lead the walks. And so when we started to evolve the walk in 2011, we decided to do evening walks instead of just day walks. The May and the October walk prior to that were both day-long walks. But we thought, why not do an evening walk? Because it's so pretty at night. And we do 10 of those walks now in the season. That's what it's evolved to, which is nice. And we also do private walks for people, 10 people or over, or we actually had 2 people hire us once to come in and do a walk with them, and it was a fun double date. It was good. Ghost-like. But so when we lead the walks, we try to make sure that people feel like they're not only walking into the past, but they're getting a great drink and taste of Carson City. So we visit the west side, but we also try to include the businesses, and we use McFadden Plaza now, which is really wonderful with the stage and the way that it's set up, and the fountain with the kids in the summertime. And I think it's really helped create a culture here in Carson City. I really believe in it. It's a passion project. I think for both Bailey and I love working with Bailey on it. Our family is from Carson. I live in Reno now. So it brings us together, and we're able to serve the community that way. It's a ghost walk because we speak about the past and we speak about people from the past. We do tell ghost stories that people share with us, but it's a historical walk, and we try to be accurate and not make up the weird stuff. We try to at least gossip with it when we have to. But some of our goals for this coming year, well, 2016 was great for us. We did 10 tours, 10 evening tours, and then we did the October walk, which we do the weekend before Halloween. And that is 22 tours in one day. And they leave every half an hour. So that's a big project for us. And we use tour guides from the community. We train them. Some of them have been with us for years, have continued on with the Ghost Walk, and are great. We were able to create stipends for them this year, so we try to utilize the monies that come in from the Ghost Walk to pay for the Ghost Walk. In 2016, the Ghost Walk did $11,000, just around. We still have a little bit of money in our checking account to be able to start this season, which is great. We pay for our own insurance, our phones, costuming, and we do pay our tour guides and props and things like that. We'll buy T-shirts and fun swag, things like that. But we try to keep the costs down. I run a theater in Reno, so I run a nonprofit, so that's nice training for that. Our partnership with Joel has been amazing. So we went for a little period of time where we were kind of really on our own, trying to figure out what are we going to do with this walk now that it's not part of the city anymore. And then Joel came in and offered to print posters for us and collaborate with us, and is always there for us. So some of our goals for this year are to become better marketers, because people love the walk. They come to the walk, they do great, but we would love a professional video so that it can show on CCVB's site, and we can put it on our website. We do have a website as well, and tie in with everyone. That's one place that we can really work on, is tying in with people more. So that's a goal for this year. Also, we'd like to be able to work with the 4th graders. It's part of their curriculum to study Nevada history, and it kind of gets left behind a little bit. So one of our ideas has been we'd like to use Bordewick as a model school, because they're right there. They wouldn't have to bus or anything. And then they would go on a tour with Madam Curry, and it would be a shorter tour geared towards the kids, where they'd get to walk through history and then be introduced to some of those common anomalies that we're trying to teach, but feel like they're part of it. So that's one of our goals as well. It's important to us to be in the community. We've done some tours for Reno High and some different tours of schools that have come in and contacted us, and they love it. And it's exciting, and all of a sudden they are proud to be here in Nevada. And I don't know about you guys, but it took me a while as an adult to look around and see how beautiful Nevada is. As a kid, you don't really see it. So any opportunity we have to say, hey, this is an amazing place. So we're excited about that. Any ideas that you guys have for us that we can partner and represent well, we would love it. And Linda, you've done so much for the Ghost Walk for so long. We have a lot of friends here as artists, and the Bliss Mansion is always kind to us, the Governor's Mansion, that whole area is really amazing. And it's fun when people come through Carson because they're going to want to come back. We have so many people come back on the tours that continue over and over to come back on these tours, and that's exciting. That says we're doing something right. So I don't know if you guys have any questions for us. I don't know if I've answered everything. I was going to say something exciting, but let's see if it's in here. Was that good? Was that okay, you guys? Oh, Stephen, your presentation was great. Yeah, thank you. It taught me a lot. It was good. I didn't have to say half the things that I didn't know I was supposed to say. So this is great. So we're just really excited to be here. We love it. We love this opportunity. So, questions? Answers?
I see the potential for maybe some coupling of events in the future between you and Stephen's group. Yes, you do need a ghost train. You absolutely need a ghost train.
Yeah, that would be exciting, wouldn't it? Absolutely. And I think that's one of the reasons that you show up, so that you can find these wonderful partnerships and know what's going on.
I do have a question for
Yes.
you. On that Ghost Walk for the fourth graders, would you consider inviting the parents?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's a great idea.
I think that would be very helpful, especially for the Latino population. I think parents would enjoy that.
Speaking on that, too, we do these 22 tours in October, and there's two routes. So one route is the 90-minute route, which goes up by the Governor's Mansion and around by the Bliss and takes that whole turn, and it's a longer walk. And then we have a shorter walk, which is a 50-minute tour, which is based for kids and families. And what we've tried to do is create an old-fashioned trick-or-treat. So we get little candies and pencils and things like that, and so the characters that we have on the walk, on the adult side or the big side, you can be kids and go on the big side, the characters are based on a theme lots of times. McAvoy will do the walk with us every 3 years or so. We try to bring them in. But on the kids side, we really try to make them kind of historical Halloween characters. And we did Grimm's fairy tale characters last time, had them at the bookstore, and it was really fun. And we still tied in Nevada history with it, but made it so that these kids were able to take a shorter walk, trick or treat, play, and hit the businesses as well. And we really want to be better about that too. We're good in the McFadden Plaza with those businesses because they get the benefit of that. Everybody goes to dinner, gets wine, all of those wonderful things, but we could be better about some of these other, like Telegraph Square businesses. And the Wrinkle Mansion, we have to thank them. They participate in every one of our evening walks. So we end the evening walks at the Wrinkle Mansion and are able to, talk with everybody, enjoy a little refreshment, and have a really nice evening. So please come and visit us as our guest and take the walk. I think you guys will enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Bailey.
And then, where should we leave these?
The next item on the agenda is for possible action to elect a vice chair for the Cultural Commission. That would be us for the remainder of the 2017 calendar year. I'll just start and nominate Barbara Denio.
And I will second that.
Any comments? Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Barb, thank you very much for your extra work. You've always stepped up when we needed extra subcommittees and things like that, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Happy to do it.
I apologize for that.
It's your name too, but not hers.
Right. Okay, so here we go with the big item. Scoring criteria, preparing for the big item. Scoring criteria of the FY 17-18, FY 18-19, arts and culture special events through RAC.
Thank you. So as you recall, in the past couple of meetings we've had, I've discussed opportunities for us really to take a closer look at this funding source that the Cultural Commission has, how we can streamline it, how we can get the most out of it. Those discussions in no way are going to interfere with the application process that was already in motion. Let me pull up the definition of the Well, as you know, the special events definition is for music, theater, and visual arts. The name is special events, so although this is an item for discussion only, I'll bring it up at the end of our meeting for future agenda items. I would seek to change that to arts, special events, and exhibitions. That makes more sense for what we are actually funding. Again, I had brought up the idea of when we met in March, the funding source for the Cultural Commission was going down, 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 down by a third in 5 years. Since that meeting, at the Board of Supervisors, at the initiative of Supervisor Bagwell, she was able to suggest an increase in sustainability for that funding source in the amount of $25,000 for the next 5 fiscal years. So I think
Actually, Mark, I did.
Was it you?
It was me.
I'm so sorry. Listen, we have a lot of champions up there on the Board of Supervisors. By no means do I want to cut you short, Karen. Sorry. So that is good news, but I don't want that good news to take us off our vision of focus here. My recommendation was to have fixed amounts of $5,000 and $2,500 for organizations in fiscal year 18-19, and also the introduction of $1,000 grants for individual artists. The individual artists would be held accountable to the same terms. Their event would have to happen in the redevelopment, one of 2 redevelopment districts. To that, with this application process, I've received a couple of complaints that the form itself was difficult. There are some cells that cut off your sentence midway. It hasn't been updated. These are all items I assure the applicants that I'm going to spearhead and get corrected for next fiscal year. Last year, Vern had brought up changing the scoring criteria, and he had brought the NAC in. Of course, they have statewide grants, about a dozen statewide grants, and while that information is important, I think it was a little over-engineering for what we have. So in the months to come, I would like to come to you with new scoring criteria and a new user-friendly application, so that this application isn't hidden somewhere in our Gov website, and so that we can get new applicants and retain the applicants that we've had so successfully over the years. That's really all I have to say to that item. So moving on to number 10, huh?
Right, so that will be a future agenda item then?
That will be a future
next
agenda
couple
item.
of
I just want to
meetings.
put it on the table now, to have that in your mind as you look at these applications, how, any suggestions you have in making this process simpler, please let me know so I can make that happen for all of us.
Okay, so number 10 is the presentation of the Cultural Commission's grant applicants.
Do you want public comment?
Each item.
Do we need public comment? Does anybody care to comment?
Actually, the way the public comment is structured on this agenda is to do it first and last, so it needs to just stay consistent.
Thank you.
Way to go.
Okay, so presentation of the Cultural Commission's grant applicants and requests of funding for this fiscal year, arts and culture special events.
So I have a disclosure in that I am a member of some of the organizations that are requesting funds and also an officer of one, so I'm going to step down for this deliberation.
Thank you, Ellie.
I would like to take the moment to just introduce some late material. For number 10, one of our applicants, the Brewery Arts Center, while their proposal was received by you in full, the supplemental material was not. Speaking to the application being a little bit more friendly, I was spending my Friday trying to assure that Gina's application wasn't cut in half, and in doing that, omitted items such as the list of board of directors. Of course, the entire commission is very well familiar with the BAC and Gina's qualifications, and I'm sure that won't have anything to do with your reading of the proposal. So what I would like to do is get this Excel sheet working. Of course, up here you have the list of organizations: the Brewery Arts Center, Capital City Arts Initiative, Mile High Jazz Band, the Sierra Nevada Ballet, Community Yogi, which is a new organization coming to us, Friends of Carson City Library, another new organization coming to us. And provided I get this Excel sheet working, we're going to plug in those numbers. As you can see, what was requested this year was, among these organizations, was $32,700. We have $25,000 to distribute, which gives us a deficit of $7,700. The commission will be tasked with dispersing that $25,000 in a manner they see fit among these organizations, and we'll plug that in. I will also mention that there's an amount of $6,000 that was that's still sitting there. If you recall the Martin Montgomery application, that amount still is there to be used in a manner we see fit, whether it's putting it towards individual artists for next fiscal year or putting it towards another project of ours. But I think we'd like to limit the presentations of each applicant to 3 minutes. Yes. So, Gina, would you mind coming up here and reintroducing yourself to the panel? I can't get this thing.
Hello, my name is Gina Lopez Hill. I'm with the Brewery Arts Center. And this year we asked for support for our Levitt Amp Carson City free summer concert series in the amount of $8,500, which is 8.5% of the total funding needed for this project. It's gone up a bit since last year. We have increased the caliber of artists that we're bringing in for this year's events. We're starting on June 23rd with Grammy Award nominated Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, which we expect will probably double the attendance of last year's events. Last year's events were attended by anywhere between 800 to 1,200 people each Saturday, and we expect that to double this year with the caliber of artists that we have. We have a few things that we've put in place to help with the redevelopment effort and the true meaning of this grant. We are working with Max Casinos and others downtown that if we're going to give each of our participants a wristband, and they're going to have incentive to go to the casinos and other places downtown and spend their money after the event ends. Our event ends at 10 o'clock, and we want to dump all those people out into the downtown core. We also have in place an RSVP for this current artist that we have, and it is a free event, so there's no tickets. But right now we have RSVPs from Fernley, Reno, Sparks, Elko, Gardnerville, Quincy, Jamestown, California, Sacramento, Roseville, Minden, Sparks, San Pablo, South Carolina, or South Lake Tahoe and San Leandro. So we expect to bring in, and again, there's no incentive to RSVP. They're just kind of letting us know they're going to be here. We expect to bring in plenty of people from the outside for these events. We are starting the series on the 23rd of June. I think I said that before. And we are skipping August 19th due to the music festival happening at Harley-Davidson that day. And we are concluding on September 2nd with the Young Dubliners. Any questions? Oh, I have one more exciting thing. We're working with Yaples Ballroom Studio. We're starting classes in 2 weeks to make sure the whole town is voodoo ready with swing dance classes, and then right after that ends, we're going to start cumbia dance classes with them as well to make sure we're ready for La Misa Negra coming on July 22nd.
Thanks, Gina. That sounds great.
Questions?
Wonderful series.
So next, can we have Sharon, Glenn, do you want to come up? Capital City Arts Initiative?
Thank you. Hello, I'm Sharon Ross with Capital City Arts Initiative. We're asking for support for our 2017-18 exhibition series. In the attendance and things that we had this year, we think we will match next year. This year, we presented 11 art shows in 3 public buildings for a total combined 750 gallery days. Exhibitions were up all year long. We estimate conservatively that the exhibitions were visited by over 28,000 adults in and out of these public buildings. Our arts and education program presented artwork by 96 high school and college students in 5 exhibitions at the Brick. And we had 23 artist talks, gallery visits, and workshops to 700 students at 7 schools. All the participating artists, the professional ones, received honorary, as well as support for their travel and projects expenses. And our programs for next year are all completely scheduled and planned. Our exhibitions continue over 12 months, and that's pretty much the essence.
Any questions for Sharon? Thanks for all you do.
Oh, thank you.
Allison, we're going to take Allison. You're going to take Allison? Allison next, yep. We're going to go alphabetically here.
Hello, everybody. I'm Allison Wrights with Community Yogi. We are an extremely new organization in the Carson and Reno area. We started, well, our first class was started in November 2016 at Kama Coffee. I teach that class on Sunday mornings, and we've had a great response from that class. We had 13 people yesterday. And so afterwards we have coffee together and we talk about mindfulness and get to know each other and all that good stuff. So starting in March, we started to have more classes in Reno and Carson. Now we have 13 classes going on that are ongoing during the week, and I think 3 of them are monthly classes. A couple are bi-weekly, and we have 9 teachers teaching with us. They're all certified by the Yoga Alliance, and so we've got something great going on. So I've come to request support for our summer event series in Carson City. We're going to call it the Summer Sun Salute. And so that will consist of additional classes that are not that are in addition to our normal ongoing classes that we have. So right now, the classes that are going on in Carson are community yoga at Kama Coffee on Sunday mornings. We have candlelight yin yoga at the Love and Light Studio that's around behind Sierra Acupuncture on the west side. We have yoga for lunch at Adams Hub, the co-working space on Carson Street. We have a sewing restorative yoga workshop where we make eye pillows and then we use them afterwards in a restorative yoga class. So that's at the Patrick Giraffe. And we have sound healing gong immersions every third Saturday at the Brewery Arts Center. And so these have been going on different lengths of time. The Candlelight Inn and Yoga for Lunch started last week, and we've had a good response for that. And so the additional classes that I am proposing, and we've kind of confirmed them already, are we're going to have yoga at the farmers market. So beforehand, we'll do yoga in the McFadden Plaza, and our teacher, Rosemary, is going to teach that class. We're going to have bookworm yoga at the Carson City Library, and that'll be going on June 11th through July 30th. I'm going to teach that one and introduce a new book to the class every week, and our practice will be based on the book, the ideas in the book. So I'm really excited about that one. We will have yoga with your dog at the park on Roop and 2nd Street. So that'll be super fun. We've already confirmed that with the parks people. And that'll be Cynthia Dean who's teaching that one. She's a psychologist and she's really passionate about her dog. And so it's like you teach your dog a trick, but the trick is do what I do. So then your dog's doing yoga with you. So, yeah. And so that'll be on Saturdays at 2 o'clock. All of these things will be ongoing throughout the summer, so it's not just a one-time event. It's kind of a thing that people can do throughout their summer and make a cool memory by doing that.
Cool. Allison, you've reached your 3-minute mark.
Already? Yeah. Oh my gosh,
you said
I'm
good
so
stuff,
sorry.
don't worry.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Well, we saw in the application that you're also planning a summer solstice session at the Legislative Plaza, so we got that.
Cool.
I have a question. What's the difference between your fixed monthly costs and your total expenses? I'm not sure what the difference is.
Oh, let me look at that. We're very new, so
that's all right.
We're working on our finance stuff. So our fixed monthly cost is things that we have to pay for each month, like insurance and all of that good stuff. Our variable costs are, so we pay our instructors 80% of what the class makes overall, and all of our classes are choose your price, so the students can try it for free if they want, and usually they end up paying the suggested price or even more, so it always evens out, which is awesome because that's part of our mission, is to reach people. And does that answer your question?
Not really.
Okay.
You said you have fixed monthly costs and then total expenses, and you have like miscellaneous schmoozing is $100 fixed monthly cost, but then your total expenses is $400. So I'm not sure if what the difference between the fixed monthly cost and the total expenses are. Can you?
Oh.
Is that over the first 4 months of this year?
I think that's what it, yes, thank you. Yeah, the total
400.
expenses have been so far this year what we've spent.
Okay, so
Yeah.
this is, so it's a total for 4 months then, as opposed to, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Sorry about that.
Explains it, thank you.
Yeah. Generally, I was excited about this because it shows how we've grown so far. And we've had our students kind of exponentially grow. We had just the people in my class in February, but then in April and March we had 100 students, and so far in May we've already had 40 students attend our classes, so we're growing. It's good. Any other questions?
I have a question. This is more maybe philosophical. Could you explain why this is a cultural thing and not an exercise program?
Yes, thank you for asking that. My background in yoga is I've been doing yoga for like 6 years, and last May I went for a month to India and did my teacher training there. And what I experienced there was awesome because their view of yoga is totally different from our view here in America. Here it's more like a workout. You go to do a workout. But my experience with yoga has always been very spiritual and close with mindfulness and, that sort of a thing. And so the mission of what I'm trying to do with Community Yogi is to share this feeling of yoga with people who might not have found it otherwise. And since we do view it as a workout in America, it's tough for some people who want to experience the spiritual part of it to venture into a yoga studio. And it feels a little bit exclusive sometimes. And it's also a little bit expensive. So this is trying to break the barriers to people. And I do view it as, the movement is it's almost an art, it's a respect for your body and for what the universe has created, and I could go into that, but I do think that there's this whole other side of yoga and meditation that can be cultural and benefit the community.
Thank you, Allison.
Thanks. Next, we're going to have the Friends of Carson City Library International Film Festival.
Hello, I'm Linda Bell-Gray, and I'm the film team chair in the Carson City Friends of the Library. So we are applying for funds to continue what we've done now for 4 years. We feel that the film festival we put on fits into the vision category of the strategic Carson City plan, because it invites citizens to live, work, and play. The strategic goals include a quality of life section, and we fit there very well because it promotes education, culture, and recreation. There are 2 portions of this event that we have been able to put on for 4 years now, absolutely free, and we want to keep it that way so that nothing stops people from coming if they wish to. It's a totally free event for all the attendees. There is an international film portion, and we review films from all over the world, choose 3. It's only a 3-day event once a year. So it is truly an event. One time every year. The other portion, besides the international films that we choose, is independent films. We've had these come from various artists and filmmakers, California, Nevada, even Iran last year. So we feel that adding these wonderful independent films, many of which come from the Reynolds School of Journalism in Reno, is an excellent forum for a different kind of film. So we have the international films, which promote different languages and cultures. They all have subtitles. Then we have independent films, which are many times homegrown, student-made, and other filmmakers have presented these. It's wonderful to have the filmmakers there explaining their work and answering questions to the viewers. As an ad hoc committee in the Friends of the Library, we need to raise our own funds to put this event on. And a typical budget has been right around $2,000 to $2,300 to do this. The licenses are the main cost. They're right around $500 per international film. So that gives us $1,500 right there. We do not charge any fees to the filmmakers who enter films in our festival. And just the fact of highlighting film as a form of art in this festival promotes the making of film and the enjoyment of it. So we are very hopeful that the commission will see fit to support us in this manner, and that we can continue putting on this festival once a year for 3 days in February. And this is coordinating with what Mark and the CCVB did this year with their fashion films, which were wonderful. I got to see one of those too, and it really made it fun. University in Reno does a shorts festival that same month, and of course the Oscars are in February too. So that's why we chose February. We're very lucky that CCVB was willing to help us out with printing this year and promoting on their social media. Also, we're very fortunate that the library, the Friends of the Library, and the Community Center are other collaborators with us. So we feel it's a very thorough community effort, and we would love to have your support.
Thank you,
Any
Linda.
questions?
I just want to say thank you for starting this. It was great.
Well,
and it's been great.
Thank you. Thank you, Karen, and we hope to continue. And this year we have several people that are helping us gather films from countries we have not represented. In that form, there's a list of past shown films that you can see in the back. So, any other questions?
Well, congratulations on your success. You're
Thank you
coming up
very
on your
much.
4th annual.
Yeah.
That's
No,
great.
Fifth.
5th annual.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
had fourth, so.
Yes.
Thank you.
2018, we hope will be number 5. Thank you very much.
Good project.
Thank you, Linda. David, you want to come up? Mile High Jazz Band Association.
I'm David Bugley with the Mile High Jazz Band Association. I'm the president. I also lead the Mile High Jazz Band. And if you're looking for longevity, the Mile High Jazz Band has been around for 20 years. We're asking for funds for the 14th annual jazz festival that we do in Carson City. This year it's an 18-day arts event. We're going to go from August 4th through August 21st. I was counting up before I came up here. I have about 49 slots of various entertainment that we know at this point we'd be doing during that time. Some, we don't actually have all the different performances identified. But we have a lot of different things, and we work in cooperation with many different groups. Some of the events that we're going to be having, we're going to have a Hohner roadshow. Hohner makes the harmonicas. We're going to have Ronnie Shellist. He's going to do a presentation along with Tom Stryker, a locally known harmonica person. We're going to be having Urban Renewal Project, which had a very popular concert last year at the Legislative Plaza. Reno Jazz Orchestra, we've had them for all the years of the festival, and so we're going to have them. The festival started on the 100th birthday of Count Basie, the famous band director, and we're going to end on August 21st. We're going to end on a Monday, which is kind of unusual for us. We usually end on a Sunday. And we're going to celebrate Count Basie's 113th birthday. But it also happens to be the day of that total eclipse, where they have the U.S. Postal Service has a special stamp. So I don't know how we're going to tie that in, but maybe the warmth of the experience will be great. We try to change things up each year a little bit. This year we're going to be, well, we did last year, we had some of the events over at Silver Saddle Ranch. We had an afternoon at the Silver Saddle Ranch. And we're going to be doing that on the, I think it's August 13th, and that will involve 4 different performances, and we bring out some ladies with their pet burros, and they'll be doing a presentation. Yes, it's the Wild Ass Women, if that's what you're laughing at. Yes, and we feature visual arts, movies, dance, theater, educational presentations. We list other events that are happening downtown, and most of these things are just open and free to the public. So it's really hard to have charge admission for them. If you take a look at the program we presented, 32-page program, and if you look on, I think it's starting on page 1, it'll list the events. The ones that are highlighted are the ones that we pay for ourselves. We pick up information about events that are happening with other groups, and we list it in our program and on our website. If you take a look at the grant application, in the last page, there's an economic multiplier based upon the Americans for the Arts, and it shows basically that if you take the 5,800 people or so that attended last year and use their standard multiplier, it comes to be about $146,000 worth of benefit to the community. And our budget is not terribly large, but we have to deal with paying the musicians, tech fees, permits, advertising, printing, and insurance. We have no paid staff. It's all run by volunteers, including the lady who had to leave the dais up there. And it's not a fundraiser. It is something to, it's a fundraiser, F-U-N raiser. And we pay for this with city funds. We've gotten Cultural Commission grants. If you take a look at page 3 of last year's program, you'll see a whole bunch of little icons for the different groups that have helped us sponsor. National Nevada Arts Council, Nevada Humanities, Nevada Commission on Tourism. We go to them to get some money to help us bring in folks from over 100 miles away. Corporate funding through program ads, private donations. We do some on-site collections, pass the basket, especially at the Legislative Plaza. That seems to be very popular. We have in-kind services, and we have our partnerships with groups like the Downtown Business Association. They will work with us on the Wine Walk days, and they will sponsor events. I think this year they've committed to doing, they'll be doing 3 of the performances.
David, excuse me, the time is almost up. Do you want to?
Actually, the time is up. I was measuring it right here.
Do you want to make a
I will
closing
wrap
statement?
Wrap it up. Okay. The Parks and Recreation, Silver Saddle Ranch, Carson Mall, the Railroad Museum, Brewery Arts Center, private businesses. And most of our events are open to the public and are free. Any questions?
Has your attendance risen over the last few years?
I would say probably it has. It's, but you know, taking attendance at an event, let's say at McFadden Plaza, is really kind of a sketchy thing. Well, I usually instruct the person who's doing the attendance, and many times it's me, to actually go through with a clicker and do 2 readings. And I'll just say, do it about 1/3 of the time into the event, and maybe 2/3 of the time, and I take whichever number is higher. And some of the events we don't actually get because they are not our events. Let's say it was at A to Zen. I don't always get statistics on how many people showed up. You know, if living the good life, I don't know how many people are there. Some of the same people will stay around at a location. And how do you count that? Is that, you know, how many total people? It's not like we did a check when he came in and then that was it.
Well, thanks for all that your core of volunteers do. And it's a significant event, and it takes a lot of wrangling and coordination and scheduling, and I mean, it's like a month-long calendar of events. So thank you very much for all of your work.
It used to be month one time. We did one year, we did it for a whole month.
Yeah. Well, okay, 18 days.
Okay, 18 days.
But thank you very much for all you do.
Okay, well, thank you.
Okay, could we have Sierra Nevada Ballet come up, please? Solo performance. So you have 2 applications. I'm going to ask, that doesn't mean you get 6 minutes.
No.
I'm going to ask that we treat this as one application of 2 events, just as we've seen Mile High and Allison's applications, and you just tell us why you're here and all your good things.
Okay. My name is Kathy Mercer. I am a most recent board member of Sierra Nevada Ballet. Miss Rosine is teaching this evening, and so she asked if I would come and represent and pretty much answer any questions that you might have on these applications. She created them, so I was quickly trying to go through them and figure out exactly what what was going on with them. But a little bit of background for Peanut Cracker is one of our events. It is one of our biggest outreach events, mainly for school children that we perform. We have 2 parts to Sierra Nevada Ballet. We have the professional ballet company, and then we have the academy. And both of these events actually incorporate both of those entities. So we have the main professional dancers, some who reside in Reno, some who come from other ballets, and come for our summer performances, and a few for the winter performances for the Peanut Cracker. I'm trying to think what else. We do the school outreach for Peanut Cracker. We do 2 performances on a school day in Carson City. We also do 2 school performances in Reno, and we rely on grants mostly for that to cover the cost of busing. We have specific grants for busing to get kids there because, as we know, we can't get kids there anywhere. And so we are experiencing some success with that, and we do a much reduced price for the students for that. The cost of all the Peanut Cracker performances is about $14 or $15 a seat, and we charge $5 a seat for Peanut Cracker. So of course we have to make up the difference there. The new ballet coming this summer is Sleeping Beauty. It's a brand new ballet just being created, which is why our costs are much higher for that. Everything needs to be created now, all costumes, all props, all pieces, all of that. That is usually performed, have in the past performed at Tahoe, at Shakespeare. And also have had a consistent performance in Reno. And this year we'd like to bring it to Carson, to the community center. So we are going to try that and see if we can fill it. So that's that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, now the hard part. So we have $25,000 to dedicate to these amazing organizations. If the Cultural Commission wants to give me a number, I can plug it in to the Excel spreadsheet. We can fool around with it and see how it goes. For the applicants, especially for the new applicants, this is a recommendation by the Cultural Commission. It'll go to the RAC, the Redevelopment Authority Citizens Committee, for eventual potential approval. But this is a recommendation, and when that final presentation to the RAC is made, I can email you that date, but as of now, it's not on the calendar yet.
I'd like to open it up for discussion.
I'll start.
Okay.
All right. Since the requests are more than the dollars that we have, I'm just going to kind of go through my thought process with regards to this. Starting with the BAC, last year they requested $5,500, and I'd like to increase the amount to $6,500. I wish we could do the $8,500, but it makes it hard to fund everyone. And because they're growing their event, I think that works. And for CCAI, they're actually asking less than they did last year. So I'd like to award them the full $5,000. For Community Yogi, thank you for your explanation on your form of yoga as an art form, because that is important. And so I'd like to recommend $1,200 for that, for their summer event series. For the International Film Weekend, I'm going to suggest $2,000. For Mile High Jazz Band, because we are trying to do a weaning process in some respect, I'd still want to award them $6,000. For Peanut Cracker, they asked for $1,200 last year, so I would suggest $1,000 this year. And for Sierra Nevada Ballet, since this is a new event, I'd like to recommend $3,300, and I think that brings us to our total. So that's my thought. That's my thought.
Okay,
Are there any other thoughts up there?
I'd be happy to, shy as I am, put some thoughts out here. I'm in agreement with the $6,500 for the Brewery Arts Center. That is a wonderful series, and I hope that everybody attends it. It's really terrific. And I have no prejudice towards anybody in the room or any organization. It's just where my head is in terms of how I feel about what is art. Okay, the Capital City Arts Initiative, I think they're fabulous. They do a wonderful job. I think the 5, I like that, and I think we should continue to support them because they do a wonderful job all year long. I'm going to skip over Community Yogi for a moment. The Film Fest, I think it's the Film Fest, that's wonderful. And I'm with you on the 2,000. If we could find some funds, I'd say go to the 2,500. But the 2, I certainly would agree with that one. And the Mile High Jazz Band, they do a wonderful job. And I think people should support you at every event that they come to with the Mile High. Put it out there and give us money. The 6,000, I agree with that also. I love yogi. I love yoga. I love exercise. I'm very involved in it. I have a little bit of a difficulty in beginning to set a precedent, because why not have every holistic health group in town come and apply? To me, that's not quite art. I know we all feel it's wonderful, but I don't see it as art, so it would not be in my agreement to say yes.
I just want to.
I'd like to just take this discussion a little further. I think that what Allison's trying to do is create community in different spaces around town. And I mean, the eye pillow, sewing eye pillows and then using them in your meditation, that seems way more creative than any yoga class. And I've been practicing yoga for over 30 years now. So I appreciate her creativity and figuring out how she can create a space for community members to enjoy themselves and to get to know each other. Now, and so yoga is possibly an art form, depending on how you look at it. I don't see holistic medicine offices showing up for these RAC event funds, but that's my take on it.
Allow me just to further explain why Allison is in front of us today, because I worked wanting to avoid the confusion that we had in years past. I worked with Lee on going through each one, saying, okay, that's yours, this is mine. And the reason why I felt this was ours was for the cultural aspect of it. And looking at her resume, having studied in India, these are Eastern Indian practices that she is introducing here in our Western world. I know that she does have plans to do, events at, the museums and galleries, and she's quite an entrepreneur. But I really look at, I see this as almost as education in some respect of an Eastern culture, and that she's able to collaborate with local businesses and the Adams Hub and all that other stuff is sort of additional to that. But I just wanted to explain to the committee why she's in front of us and why I thought this was on the cultural end of things as opposed to a boot camp where it was just something like that.
No, and I think that's terrific, and it's wonderful. Having been in the healthcare industry for a long time and lots of different organizations, all of whom have a little twist and a little bent and a little something that they're doing, while I think it's wonderful, it would not be one I would support. That's all. But I think you're terrific, and I think you do good stuff.
So Barb,
I'll be outvoted, and that's okay.
Barb, where did you have the extra money for that? What did you have for the Sierra Nevada Ballet then?
Sierra Nevada Ballet, I think is wonderful. I said I agreed with the 3,300, and I agreed with the 1,000.
So then you would have a remainder of 2,000?
Yeah. Simply because we're also trying to look at individuals and help support individual artists and bringing folks along, and we need funding somewhere to help that. Right. That's all.
Okay.
And Mark, one more comment I would have is that the additional 6,000 that was left over from last year, since we want to get started with art scholarships and/or some other type of project in that realm, that be the seed to start that.
I think that's a great idea. I mean, this is money that the commission can put forth in doing
Terrific.
Whatever you think we can do going forward.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have,
This is a good discussion. I really appreciate everybody's input. And so with the numbers that Karen proposed, we're right at the 25,000?
yes, so Karen's proposal here is to allocate the 25,000 evenly. Barb was in much agreement, but the $2,000 that would go to.
Almost.
No, I'm sorry. It would be 1,200, right?
Yeah,
Barb?
less.
Okay, so we would have a remainder of 1,200, and Barb then recommends putting that aside towards future individual artist grants in the next fiscal year?
Please feel free to jump in here, ladies.
I kind of agree with Barbara on this. I just think it doesn't strike me as being what we're supposed to be promoting. And so I agree with Barbara on this one.
So do we need to have then 2 votes on 2 different funding levels or funding totals or what?
You can do it however you want, just to make sure that the record is clear.
Right.
Yeah.
Do we have a third option, or are we going to go with these 2? Okay. I'm going to assume we're going to vote on one of 2 options here. Let's just spend the $25,000 in total, giving Community Yogi the $1,200, or opt not to with a remainder of $1,200 to roll forward. Okay. Terry, I'll give that to
Okay,
you.
so all those in favor of funding all 7 organizations for a total of $25,000 at the levels that we discussed and that are on the screen in front of us. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, all those in favor, I'm sorry, Lupe, are you voting? Okay. This is your first meeting.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so, didn't mean to put you on the spot, so.
This is baptism by fire here in Carson City.
Yeah.
You should have seen the packet I emailed
Wait
to
until
her.
the next meeting. Wow. So all those in favor of the second proposed levels of funding for only 6 organizations excluding community yogi. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. That was 3. Stephanie. Oh, 4.
So that was a record of 4 in favor of that? Okay. So I will take this recommendation of having the $1,200 roll over to the next fiscal year to Lee, who will bring it in front of the RAC committee, and I will let everyone know when that is on the calendar.
So do I need to ask for a motion for a vote to approve the level of funding we just voted on? Okay, so can I get a motion to approve the level of funding that 4 commissioners proposed?
I'll make a motion to approve the funding that the 4 commissioners voted for, excuse me.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carried.
Thank you to all the applicants who attended today. That was quite a full house that we've had, and it was actually good to see a couple of people try to stumble over themselves in the beginning, getting to public comment. We had a traffic jam there. So I want to, before we hit the 2-hour mark here, I want to bring back for discussion and possible action. Do we want to look at fixed grants amount for next fiscal year 18-19? Do we want to look at the amount of a fixed grant of $5,000 and $2,500 for organizations going forward in next fiscal year, being that we're going to have $25,000?
May I ask, is this bringing up the tabled item from
Yes, it
the
is.
March meeting? Okay, because
Yes, it
I thought,
is.
okay, let's get on the right
And now we have
page.
we have $1,200, $1,000 of that could be allocated to an individual artist,
And you have the 6,000 from the previous.
and we have that as well.
So you've got that as a kitty to get started, and then if you, I don't know, my thought process is if you wanted to take 2,500 each and every year from that point for, as an art scholarship stipend type of a scenario, we just we start growing those funds.
Right. And so that would cover our individual artists. As far as organizations, do we want to break it into 2 fixed amounts? That would allow the applicants to actually know what they're aiming for. That might keep things simpler.
So explain again what's the difference between a request for $5,000 and a request for $2,500?
Well, that would be up to the committee to, looking at what we have here. I feel organizations, the $5,000 could be given to senior organizations, people that have been in front of us before, people that are well-known. The $2,500 would be a good stepping stone for someone new, an organization rather that's new. I know that if I was new to Carson City, I don't think I'd want to go up against those big dogs. I mean, these are great organizations, but I would like to have an opportunity to try and have some success. It's seed money. It's basically what the $2,500 and the $1,000 is seed money to grow a new Carson identity, a larger Carson City identity of creativity. So that's what I'm bringing just in
I
front
have
of you.
one comment about that. And it even came up with some of these applicants who didn't actually need $2,500 for a small or short event. And would they be required to ask for $2,500? or else not submit an application?
Well, you know, Ellie, I haven't thought about that. What I did think about was, what if there's only $1,000 and you guys had recommended $2,500 for an organization? I would take the initiative, kicking in $1,500 to bring that to the next level for the Cultural Commission to distribute.
But how would we know that the organization needed more?
Well, we're not going to know. I mean, today we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6 applicants. Next year we might have 7. I mean, I would like to see more applicants up there year by year, but you know, we also have to think about ways to create additional funding on other levels too.
Right. So
I don't have the answer for that, you know, right now, but this is.
So if for the next 5 years, at least we've been guaranteed $25,000 every year to allocate or to recommend.
Mm-hmm.
And so how is that broken up? Is that 4, 5,000 and 2, 25?
That could be up to you when you see the applicants in front of you, both the organizations and the individuals.
Yeah, I mean, what if 10 people? Yeah, what if 10 applicants show up? And that's $2,500 each, I guess, is what that means.
But it saves the efforts of you know an organization that we had recently apply for $26,000 for full funding. That's a lot of work to put these applications together. And if the applicant had an idea of how much they're going to get, it makes the process easier.
It could be caps, a small amount of up to 2,500, and then the larger of up to 5,000.
Yeah, I think that's.
I thought that's what we agreed.
It's different. It's different from what you.
So instead of a fixed, it's a cap of that. Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. If we don't have any further discussion, I guess we could take a motion to set the amounts to the maximum of $2,500 or $5,000 for starting with next year's 2018-2019 RAC Special Events Funds.
I'll make the motion that beginning in 2018-2019 with our RAC special event funding, that we set caps of up to $5,000 for applications and caps of up to $2,500 for applications.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No, motion carries. Thank you, Ellie. Ellie, for the record, Ellie Bugley is abstained on that vote. Thank you, Mark. Marketing update by Kyle Horvath.
Non-action item.
Sorry.
A.
Non-action items, the Arts and Culture Coordinator Report.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for your patience this evening. Past events, Art Advocacy Day in Washington, D.C. Since last time we met, I was able to go to D.C. with the Cultural Alliance of Nevada in advocating to keep the NEA. We've had some success with that recently, if you've been reading the news. I've also had a chance on March 23rd to be part of the visionary workshop for the Stewart Indian School Master Plan. As you know, the governor has allocated money for the Cultural Heritage Museum there, and we're working together on sort of defining what that could be for residents and tourists alike. Recently, we had the chance to attend the Burning Man Global Leadership Conference in strengthening these ties with Reno and our burner artists to see what kind of outdoor sculptures we can get in here to Carson. On April 6th, I had a chance to give our annual report to the Board of Supervisors, which was well received. On May 1st, we had our first public art panel for the muscle-powered bike racks. KLO TV in Reno came down April 15th, interviewed me. We had 20 applicants for that. We combed through them. We have 6 finalists, and those finalists will be notified on Wednesday. This week on May 3rd, we had Arts Day at the Ledge Building. It's an annual event. The party that usually puts it together fell ill, and so the Cultural Alliance of Nevada, the agency that I went to DC with, and I put our heads together and put a nice turnout by Senator Mark Menendo, Assemblywoman Heidi Swank, Assemblyman Chris Edwards, the NAC Chair Julia Archer was there, as well as a lot of local organizations. You know, I say if we have an event like this in our backyard, we have to show, we have to represent, we have to be strong. On May 3rd, we had our first Entrepreneur Workshop at the Adams Hub. This was a pilot program. We have 30 applicants signed up for that. So that's every Wednesday. Don't try signing up now, though. It's every Wednesday at the Adams Hub. I will plug a mural that the Chamber leadership that I'm on did at Fish, which we unveiled May 5th. If you'd like to see that, please call Jim Peckham.
It's gorgeous.
Thanks. Present events. Sherry Rupert reached out to me. UNLV students are having their alternative spring break the second week of May 18th. If you haven't heard of that, it's something I did when I was in college. Instead of hitting the beach with a couple beers, what you do is you roll up your sleeves, grab a shovel, and help an organization. So these students from Vegas are coming to Stewart Indian to clean up, to help share with all her stuff. She reached out to me to see if I could bring some arts and cultural aspect to it. So my thanks to Topa Spoonhunter, who's an artist in our GBNA show. And he and I are working together so that each one of these 14 or 15 students that come to Carson City from Vegas are actually going to leave with a piece of his artwork. Isn't that cool? Future events. Marla Miles put together a nice future event on May 10th. As a result of the Fashion Films in February, there's a group of 20 people who got together, and they're going to take a tour of the Marjorie Russell Textile Collection. So who knew that was going to happen from that fashion film? So that brings some people and some press their way. I emailed you individually about a grant I won, but there's a press embargo on it, so I can't really speak to it. But it's a biggie. It's a grant I wrote, I think in October or November. It's the first time that any city in Nevada state has won it in the past 8 years. So hopefully the next meeting we have, if not earlier, I'll email you individually, but I'll tell you about that, and that's going to be some exciting news. Final note here is that I've been working with the Nevada Day Committee on trying to develop new traditions over that weekend. You know, of course, we have the DBA Festival, we have the parade, and I wanted to reach out to the members of the Cultural Commission to see if you would have interest in putting together a first annual Cultural Commission costume ball that weekend. A fundraising event, a ticketed event. The money of that tickets we could put towards a new grant that we do. So it would be a costume ball. You know, I'm working to have some grand marshals from the founders of Burning Man here that weekend to celebrate a new piece of art that's going to be coming into town. I've spoken with Gina already at the BAC. If you're shaking your head, yes. This would be new waters for all of us, but I would be seeing all of us working together, both on the camera and off the camera, trying to put together one heck of a party that would get people to come here Friday, to attend this party, stay overnight in Carson City, attend the parade the next day.
Mark, how does this differ from the governor's costume ball?
So I spoke to Katie DeMuth at the Virginia City Tourism Bureau. Their event is scheduled for Saturday, the 28th. I would be looking for Sunday, the 27th. But in Katie's own words, there's no overlap because that's a period costume ball. This wouldn't have, this would be a Halloween party.
Where would you get the funds to pay for it?
Well, I took it upon myself to help the Nevada Day Parade write a grant to the Division of Tourism and Cultural Affairs across the street from us. So in part from receiving that grant, and I would be looking to kick it in from my budget as well.
And so the Brewery Arts Center is interested in partnering on this?
They're interested in discussing it further, and we're going to have a meeting to discuss it. I think it would be, let's start a new tradition in Carson City, and one that can actually put some money in a grant kitty for us to get art moving. I just wanted to bring that up. Maybe I should have had that in discussion, but that's stuff that's going on in my head right now.
My thought is that it should be agendized for our next meeting so that we can roll forward on this.
Okay.
Yes, I think we all agree.
That's it.
That's party.
I'll hand it over to Kyle. This is all in pencil. The 27th, Friday.
With Blinky Man possibly to end at the costume ball.
Of course.
Are you all good? Yeah. All right, cool. So I'll be brief because I know we've been here for a while. The Visitors Bureau has been up to a ton over the last month, or over the last 2 months since I've seen you guys last, but I'm just going to stick to the arts and cultural aspects of it. First of all, an ad that we partnered with Travel Nevada on to go out to all the different Mandarin Chinese communities across the country has been launched. And because the Chinese traveler enjoys more the Western culture, Western heritage and culture more than the outdoors, I just wanted to show you the ad that'll be running as an insert in all of the communities that have been identified. So you see we've highlighted the Native American dancer from the powwow as well as the train. And even though I can't tell you what these characters mean, what we had submitted textual-wise was very arts and culture oriented. So that is out, and we should be getting quite a bit of email leads from people who are specifically interested in arts and culture of Carson City. So in addition, the Summer Fall Visitors Guide is going to be coming out mid-June. This is going to be more focused on outdoors and events, whereas the winter one was the arts and cultural one, but it's certainly not eliminating arts and culture. So there'll be articles showcasing the second phase of the Great Basin Native Artists exhibit. So we are having turnover mid-June, right around powwow time. So we'll go ahead and continue to have that in our visitor's guide. We're also going to be doing, for the first time ever, a summer music kind of overview of all the different musical events that are going on in Carson City over the summer. So this would include the Jazz and Beyond, the Levitt series, Fridays on McFadden, and Concert Under the Stars, as well as any other major musical events that come up between now and publication. We're certainly listing those now. And I'm happy to say that the music scene is robust enough that, we can write a lot about what's going on in Carson musically over the summer. We're also going to be doing an article with Larry Burton, who's a local photographer, talking about some of his favorite photography spots and making suggestions to other photographers on where they can go to get that piece that you could frame or exhibit. And then, of course, there'll be a big piece on Nevada Day 2017 arts and culture as well. As Terry mentioned right when you walked in, we did the half-hour special with Mountain Resort TV Tahoe called Carson City Today that just aired this weekend. It was from a grant focused on promoting the downtown as a whole, but as you know, as we start talking about Carson, it can't just stay in that little container right there. So we did talk a lot about the arts and events, particularly the powwow, Stewart Indian School, as well as the historical aspects, which is included in the culture. So all of the museums, the Blue Line tour, as well as the nightlife and some culinary experiences as well. So it's tough to fit everything in a half an hour and not just sound like you're listing stuff off. We are working on the June and July events rack card right now. We usually do a 2-month rack card with all the events, so that'll be put out pretty soon. And as guaranteed, I'm done. Brief. So thank you.
Thank you, Kyle. Okay, and then the Cultural Commission Municipal Code Revision Update by Joel and Iris.
So we'll continue to have this as a non-action item listed. Iris and I have been working on the interlocal agreement with, between the Bureau and the city. So there's no updates for this meeting, but we'll have an update at your next meeting. Okay.
Thank you, Joel. And then, Joel, you could start with the CCVB update.
All right, just a couple of things. Mark forgot to mention that we had an opportunity to travel across the Eastern Gateway into Carson City. We took the opportunity while going to the Rural Tourism Roundup, which is an opportunity for all of the different DMOs across the state, mainly those rural communities, to come together and kind of have 3 days of educational sessions. Mark and I took the opportunity while traveling with the NAC to come back on the Eastern Gateway. We're going to be working on finding different ways to promote Carson City while people transition on the Eastern Gateway through Ely and Austin and Eureka. But through that, we stopped at first the Mercantile, Bristol Mercantile in Ely, and it's a new gallery, and they're doing a lot of great things. Sat in on an art auction and bought a couple of great pieces in Ely. But the highlight for me was having the opportunity to lay out on the ground with our sleeping bags and sleep in Eureka in the largest collection of Nevada art and Nevada artists. And it was, I'm afraid I may have said something, but it was spectacular.
The way Barb's looking at me right now.
Yeah. It was, I have to say, having an opportunity was a hoarder's dream of unbelievable art by Nevada artists. And it's a collection by Wally Kachane, and unbelievable. Yeah, having that opportunity to be able to stay in the gallery that's not open to the public now. And most of these pieces are going to end up at the Bristol Cone Mercantile in Ely. So we're going to be working, once again, I said, on that Eastern Gateway marketing campaign. It'll be part of our outreach to all those rural communities that don't necessarily have an opportunity nor the funding to develop a mobile app and some of the online social media presence. And we're going to be able to provide that to those communities. So I'm looking forward to that. Real quick, the March room tax numbers. We were up 54% in our room collection for March, bringing in just shy of $1.5 million for March alone. Year to date, calendar year, we're up 25%, almost 26%. That's an additional $740,000 just in the first 3 months of this year. Calendar fiscal year to date, we're up just shy of $1.6 million. So we're still seeing those real positive trends in the room tax collections in Carson City, which lends itself to providing more opportunities to increase the quality of life, not only with the arts and culture component that now we're funding, but also with our outdoor recreation component. Just glad that the Visitors Bureau can play a significant part in that. Grants that I have going that do correlate to some arts and culture funding. Earlier, when Mary Bennett was talking about the need for video, I did submit a grant on behalf of the Bureau to provide video for the Ghost Walk this year. And when I submit a grant, hoping that Nevada Commission on Tourism partners with us. But I also know that when I submit these grants that I'm going to be funding these projects. So these will happen. If the Nevada Commission on Tourism decides to partner with us, that's fantastic. But we've set aside in our budget for the next fiscal year for these. So we will be doing a video for the Ghost Walk. As always, I put in for my advertisement with Nevada Magazine to be able to reach out to all of the rural communities and obviously outside of the state. That provides us several opportunities with Nevada Magazine. I've also applied to have the Nevada Commission on Tourism become one of those partners in the Reimagined Space that you guys are a collaborative partner in. Also the RAC. I'm looking at having them come in with $10,000 to supplement the marketing component. And I'm confident that all of these have an opportunity for them to step in and partner with us. The other one is the single track mountain bike adventure across that Eastern Gateway. So although it's not culture related, it's certainly tying into what we talked about with the Eastern Gateway. And that's it for me. Okay.
Future agenda items? I think we have a list going.
Future agenda items will be the discussion for the Cultural Commission Costume Ball. It will be for renaming the special events grant for fiscal year 18-19, taking a look at the scoring rubrics and trying to develop a user-friendly application for it as well.
And our upcoming meetings are on, I'll just announce these, are on June 12th. That's the Carson City Visitors Bureau Board of Directors meeting at 4 o'clock here at the Sierra Room, I'm assuming. Okay, and then on July 10th at 5:30, we will all convene again as the Cultural Commission here in the Sierra Room. And now is the time for final public comments and discussion. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Compulsive behavior. Sharon Ross, thank you for all of these deliberations. I know it's difficult, and we all really appreciate all your efforts on our behalves. Second, since you're not meeting again for your calendars, if you would all save Friday, June 9th, we're opening our next exhibition at the courthouse from 5 to 7 with wine compliments of CCAI, but also of the city and the court to let us pour wine in the courthouse. We're opening Industrial Art Sports Edition. It's the second exhibition in this series we've done of partnering with local manufacturers, presenting their work as design, which they sort of look at us when we go in and talk to them like they're thinking, what? And we're going, this stuff is gorgeous. So we're focusing on design, and it's 5 sports manufacturers, Minden, Carson City, and Verdi. So we hope you can come. The exhibition will be up through September 28th. I think that's the last Thursday in September. So you'll be able to see it all summer. But the party is Friday, June 9th, so please, and we don't have the flyers yet. They're at the printer. So save the date.
I actually have an announcement, not as the Visitors Bureau. But last time we had a meeting, I was able to announce that the Downtown Business Association had dedicated funds to another mural downtown like they did the year before. We're still looking for a suitable location with a building owner that is receptive to that in the Downtown Business Association corridor. But I'm happy to announce this time that through a side project that I have through my own personal business in partnership with Ruby Lantern Tattoo, we do an art show called Artistically Inclined, usually during the art walk, and it's to get the art of local tattoo artists, their non-skin works, out of their tattoo galleries and downtown where people can stumble upon it when they wouldn't normally go into a tattoo shop to appreciate all the art that's on the wall. And we've got 6 tattoo shops in town, and they are many of them born and raised in Carson, a lot of them Nevada natives, and they're extremely talented artists who are, commissioned sometimes on a daily basis to create unique works of art on people's bodies. Ruby Lantern really, through talking, they really want to get in and support the community in a way because they feel this is their hometown and they really want to get involved in it. So we normally have a fundraising element with Artistically Inclined, and we've raised money in the past to send kids to different art classes in the summertime that couldn't normally afford it. But this time, we raised $300 towards a project that we're going to be pursuing where we would like to commission artists, not just tattoo artists, young artists, old artists, it doesn't matter, into a public art project where the painting or the work is designed on a piece of paper and then wheat pasted onto the side of the building. Now what that does is that allows for like a semi-permanence to it. Last about 2 years if not tampered with or normal weather wear and tear, but it can come down. And so the idea is that a mural gets one artist in one spot, but what we want to do is commission up to 10 artists, give them a stipend to create pieces of work on paper, which actually would be easier for some artists who don't have the experience to scale up to a mural standpoint, but still want to have that stepping stone to get their pieces out into the public. So what we're looking to do right now is find locations, city buildings, private buildings, and what I'm thinking is places like the community center here, the aquatic center, the library, the Brewery Arts Center, and create kind of expand that downtown art experience and allow people, to be able to walk around to some of these public places and see some really cool art that's created by locals. So I'm reaching out to Pioneer High School, sending out the call to artists. I'm not asking for money. This is more of just an announcement right now. But we have been talking with Rosca Entertainment, who did come in and make a presentation about what they're doing with their downtown art project. And we're gonna collaborate and try to fund this fully. And just hope that the Cultural Commission, we're going to fill out the form as normal, but hope for your blessing and your advice and any recommendations on locations that would be suitable. And again, I want to stress that even though this is Ruby Lantern Tattoo that is, pushing this is not limited to just tattoo artists, and nor will it be just tattoo style art. This is open to the entire community. So again, thank you.
I'd like to jump in at this moment just to say welcome to Lupe Ramirez. The Board of Supervisors unanimously chose her last week. 1 in 4 people here in Carson City is Latino. I reached out to Lupe. A couple of you might have remembered her from one of Cher Rupert's events at the Governor's Mansion, I think in late 2016, where she attended there. Joel and I reached out to her class. I passed out some fashion tickets that her students attended, but I think, Lupe, you'll bring a great dynamic to the board, not only to represent the Hispanic community, but the young adults, and hopefully strengthen our ties with the UNC Art Gallery. So welcome.
Thank you. I'm very excited about being here, and I look forward to working with the group.
Thank you.
Thanks.
It's great to have somebody from the college
Yes.
on the commission, so thank you. Thank you for stepping up.
I'd just like to thank you for considering community yogi as part of this, and to thank Mark for reaching out and for, I know it's a new idea, and for thinking outside the box and continuing to think of us. So thanks, guys.
We wish you lots of luck. Board comments or announcements?
I want to announce that the Greenhouse Project has their plant sale on May 13th from 8 to 1, and we all have all kinds of wonderful vegetables, fruits, and petunias. And then on July 12th is the concert Under the Stars. Please buy your tickets on carsoncitygreenhouse.org, or you can go to the Visitors Bureau, and they'll help you through the ticketing process, as will the BAC.
I'd like to announce that Mile High Jazz Band is performing tomorrow night at Comma Coffee. It's a $5 entrance fee. And that the symphonies, one of the symphony performing groups, Consort Canzona, is presenting a royal birthday celebration on next weekend on Friday at St. Peter's, and on Saturday at Shepherd of the Sierra, and it's free, and they're doing a piece that was written in the 1500s to celebrate, I think it's Mary II's birthday. So that's the poster for that. And on June 11th, the symphony is doing its Pops Party concert at the Governor's Mansion in the backyard. And that's free also.
Yeah, St. Peter's has wonderful acoustics, and love having Mile High, have you all there, because it's a wonderful event. Please try and come to it. Another comment, could we get an update or just some sort of conversation about what to do outside of the swim facility. We've been talking about this for several years. What do we do with that great big round pile of rocks? We were going to be looking at putting something in there, a Burning Man piece or something would be fabulous.
That location is on my radar, of course. Kurt Meyer and Sharon Ross looked into it, and I think there was a large tree there. Now there's a smaller tree there. There's a bunch of rocks. It's on my radar. But I have something in store for the front of the community center. So.
I have a comment as well. Nevada Magazine is sponsoring a photographer's workshop. We have 4 photographers that will be coming in and teaching. It's on June 28th. If anybody would like to attend, let me know. It'll be a 4-hour workshop there at our office at 401 North Carson. So if you're interested, just get a hold of me and we'll be happy to have you. Thank you.
Anyone else? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Adjourn.